up, everybody? Finally back out on the bike. About 4 days of rain here in Florida kept me from doing anything. Anything at all. Most unproductive week of my life. No, actually, that's probably a lie. But pretty close. I don't really have anything super interesting to talk about today. But we'll see. I just felt like going out on a ride. Maybe we'll run into some smart people in cars. Hooligan moment. That's what I'm going to start calling those, hooligan moments. I said it a couple times in my first video. Kind of catchy. I like it. Do not want to be behind him. Used to drive those things. I just don't like being behind cars. They accelerate too slow for me. Watch yourself there, Prius. Thank you. I find that Prius owners, there's only two types of Prius owners. There's the ones that drive like grandmas, no offense. Take their sweet time doing anything and everything. And then there's the ones that drive them like they're a bloody F1 car. It's like, I was doing 80 down the turnpike one day and just had this Prius come rocking past me doing 100 plus. It was just like, really? In a Prius? But I mean, I can't really say much. When I was younger, I treated my Silverado like a race car. I'm also trying to figure out if Florida were to legalize lane splitting, if I'd do it or not. I mean, I've seen plenty of videos from California that have, and Europe, lane splitting gone wrong. I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, I have been rear-ended by a car at a stoplight before. So it's like, I see both aspects of it. I also have way too big of a bike for it. So what do we got here? Is it a V-Rod? No. Oh, it's a breakout. Catch up to him so I can get a better look at what he's actually on. No gear though. Shorts, tennis shoes, baseball cap. friend Dan the fireman would not be approving of that. That one was my fault. See, when you do stupid, it'll bite you in the ass if you're not paying attention. I'm pretty sure that's a breakout. This is not a good spot. Blind side of those trucks, passenger side, they cannot see you at all. So your best bet is if you have to pass a semi on his passenger side, do it as quick as possible. Or just try not to do it at all. Maybe that's what I'll talk about this video. Do a little bit of that. Semi-safety. That truck behind me can weigh up to 80,000 pounds. Can be heavier if he's permitted for the extra weight. They're 70 feet long. And you can't see jack out of them. On the right side of the truck, you can see almost nothing. Almost nothing. So when cars come down ramps and they try to argue with a truck, half the time we don't even know they're there. If we're able to pay attention enough and see them coming down the ramp, we'll slow down, but don't expect us to slow down for you. Because we can't. Physically can't. So, what people don't realize is that these trucks I'm gonna say I need at least a quarter mile minimum to come to a complete stop when full. And that's a minimum. So when you're thinking about doing something stupid in front of a truck, realize that most likely you will die before I stop. Let's just put it that way. Not to be super morbid. Now, from back here, he can see me right here. Because your driver's side, you get a little bit better mirror coverage. Now, directly behind the truck, if I were this close directly behind him, he don't even know I'm there. At night, we can see the headlights under the trailer. That's about, and not even the actual headlights. We can see just the light on the road. That's the only reason we'd know you're back there, even at night. So stay back. See, he's back decently far enough to where he could probably see him right now. But just remember, these trucks, you can't see. You just straight can't see. Ooh, RX-7. Sorry. Ooh, squirrel moment. But these trucks, are dangerous. not just for bikes, for cars too. So even if you don't own a motorcycle, just remember, those tires, they're a couple 100 pounds a piece. So when those tires explode, there's two ways those tires come apart. A slow leak, which causes them to shred to pieces, and then an explosive blowout where the tire just fails. Majority of the time, it's an explosive blowout. Now, if you're sitting right next to it when it does that, the chances of you getting hit with a giant piece of steel belt and rubber, very likely. So on a bike, you want to try to get away from trucks as much as possible. And I had a lot of guys do it when I was driving over the road. You would see groups of motorcycles, and they would always jump directly in front of me. Like really, like couldn't even, like, barely see their helmet over the hood of the truck, kind of in front of me. Now from down here on a bike, it looks like you're far enough ahead of me. You're not. If you were to jump to where it looks okay for you and jump in front of me, you're gonna die. If you lock the brakes up that close to me, you're gonna die. So just remember, just think of trucks as a giant murder missile. That's all they are. They're a giant murder missile, and if you're not careful, one will bite you one day. And I can share a few stories after I hooligan. Anyway, so I have a few stories. First one, out in Texas. Had an F-150, like, just know this. Most truck drivers try to be courteous. There's a lot of guys that have been out driving for long enough that they're just tired of all the antics cars pull, and they've become bitter old men. But a majority of us out there are just trying to get home to our families. We're not trying to fight with you or run you off the road or any of this. We don't got time for that. So, out in Texas, sitting in line for an on-ramp, or a switchover ramp from one highway to another. See how close this guy is to me? You just make yourself have room. Get away from the stupid. Anyway, so I'm sitting in line for this changeover in Dallas somewhere, from one highway to another, so it's the line backed up. And this lady runs across the grass. Why is he up here and then slowing back down next to me again? What is this dude's issue? Anyway, and she literally runs across the crosshatches, across the grass, cuts me off, and cuts me off pretty close with like inches. I hit the air horns a little bit because pissed me off. Not gonna lie, pissed me off. Been sitting in this stupid line for a good 15 minutes trying to get on this highway, and she does this stupid crap. So this lady decides to max effort this and actually opens her sunroof to give me the bird for her cutting me off and me honking at her. It's like 100% effort opening the sunroof to flip me off. So I found that one kind of funny. Another one from Texas. Back to what I was saying about most of us truck drivers like to try to be courteous. F-150 coming down the fast lane. I have to pass another semi. I had speed on him, so it only took me a good, well, 30 seconds to a minute to pass the other truck. And the F-150 that was behind me was pretty far back. He was at least a mile behind me when I pulled out, but of course he was speeding. So he caught me pretty quickly. And apparently the fact that it took me, a minute to pass this other truck, 1 minute, was enough for him to road rage at me, brake check me, open his sliding back window, flip me off, and start pointing at me and telling me to pull over. It's like, dude, are you crazy? I'm not gonna pull over with your crazy ass on the side of the road. And he just kept at it, and I just left the cruise control on the truck. I gave zero care. And he eventually buggered off. But it's like, people like them are the reason truck drivers get a little bitter. Because y'all do stupid stuff in front of a truck, and then you get mad when we give you a honk to let you know you're being dumb. Now, I do see the problem with people using their horns all the time and whatnot, but the problem is that if we hit you in a truck, it's our job. Most of the time, we get fired, we get sued for a car doing something stupid. So, it's our livelihood, so us giving you a little beep isn't us being a dick. Or at least I don't consider it being a dick. I had another one, which I think was the closest I ever came to killing somebody in my truck. I don't remember where this one was. I think it was in Tennessee or something somewhere. Was it Tennessee? Yeah, like I said, I don't remember. But I was coming down a downhill. I was loaded down with 43,000 pounds of paper. Fully loaded on paper. Going downhill, it would not be easy for me to stop. Now, there was one of those cloverleaf style on-off ramps where the on and off ramp lane is the same lane and people gotta argue with each other to get on and off the highway. Those stupid frickin' designed ramps. And so, crap, I forgot to get over. And so, I see this car up on the ramp. And she slowed way down. It was this little old lady, I think. She slowed way down to try and get into traffic. Now, there was a giant open spot in front of me. Giant open spot. But she waited till, over half of that open spot was gone to just go from a dead stop to about 15 miles an hour out in front of me, going downhill on a 65 mile an hour highway. So it's like, pucker shocker factor and a half for me. I'm sitting here going, I'm about to kill somebody. I'm on the brakes as hard as I can, engine brake going, just trying to get this damn truck stopped. And all I could do was just try my damnedest to get the truck stopped and lay on the air horns. And I came to a damn near stop in the middle of a 65-mile-an-hour highway before she got the idea to actually accelerate. That's a nice old Bronco. So it's like, stupid stuff like that is why truckers can seem a little bitter. But I could probably share other stories. And it's not always just the car drivers that make us that way. A lot of times, dispatchers for half of these companies are just complete morons. They send you to places you're not supposed to go. Addresses are wrong, pickup times are wrong, delivery times are wrong, so they got us rushing when we don't have to rush because they want the company to look good by getting it there early. And then there's a lot of companies that actually hate when we get there early because they're scheduling like they don't have the room for the product, so they've got it scheduled for a certain way for a reason. So there was one run I had to do out in Texas to this place that does, I don't remember if they filled the oil drums or if they sold the oil drums, but we showed up, there was another one of my company's trucks there getting unloaded. I go inside, oh, excuse me. I go inside and I asked the dude about what he wants us to do, and he straight up told me I wasn't supposed to be there for another 2 days. And I was like, excuse me? And he straight up said, yeah, you're not supposed to be here for another 2 days. So it's like, what the holy hell? My company lied to me, telling me it needed to get there that day, and he looked at me and told me that's the reason they fired a different shipping company and started using us because they were showing up whenever they wanted and they had nowhere to put the product. And he said, luckily they found a spot where they could unload my truck. And I ended up calling up my dispatch and the planners and chewing their asses out on the phone because I'm looking like an idiot when they're the ones who can't get their crap straight. So it's not always just the cars that got us on edge, but just think about that. We got to deal with stupidity from our dispatch. We got to deal with stupidity on the road. So just keep that in mind, and just remember, trucks, they're not safe machines. Most of the time when trucks wreck, if it's a decent wreck, the driver doesn't survive. What I can end this video with is another little rant about just treating each other with respect. You don't know what other car drivers and shit are dealing with. You don't know what a truck driver is dealing with. Not everybody knows everything about trucks, so they don't know half the little tidbits that I gave you today. But just remember to just be courteous to each other. Stop being in such a hurry. Like, look at that. Look at that. For what? For what? That's my point. Everybody's in a hurry. For what? Where is he going that is so important? You know what? Maybe tomorrow I'll actually do a video on mirror smashing. I'll do a video on mirror smashing and lane splitting, because I mentioned both of those today, but again, another video that's kind of scatterbrained and off topic. I just don't understand the point of road rage. Now, I can't say I've never road raged, but the older I get, the less it seems that people bother me enough to get me to road rage. So, I just don't see the point. Giving people a little beep is fine, but chasing them down and crap, not fun. Life is too short to be angry all the time. So, again, segueing back to the whole truck thing. Be safe. Make sure you pay attention around big trucks. Make sure you pay attention around cars, because cars have blind spots too. So just think about it. If a truck can't see a car, how much harder is it for him to see you? If a car can't see you, how hard is it for a truck to see you? And just be careful, everybody. That's all I really want. I want everybody to be careful, stop being so angry at each other. I see too many people do too much stupid crap, and it bugs me because it's all from impatience. One last send-off. Alright, ladies and germs. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for sticking around listening to my scatterbrain nonsense. I'll see you next time.